Recently, on the Pursue Marriage account on Facebook and Instagram, I posted that 40% of married couples admit that they don't sleep together on a regular basis. I'm not talking about sexual intimacy. I'm talking about sleep together in the same bed on a regular basis. And there's a number of reasons for that. I'm going to touch on some of them. And if you're in that 40% group, you say, Jarrett, you don't know my situation. You don't know my wife. You don't know the condition. You don't know. You're right. I don't. I did look into Scripture, though, to try to see what kind of guardrails has God given us when it comes to protecting our marriage. But I know life happens. Just like people with church hurt, and I'll touch on this on a different time. You can have church hurt. You can be upset at the leaders of your church. You can be upset at the pastor. You can be upset of the last 5 churches you attended. But you need to ask yourself, what do Scriptures tell me about the church? That's the frame of mind I need to have. So when you get to this, 40% of couples admit they don't sleep in the same bed. Now, I don't know if this is like Dick Van Dyke stuff where they sleep in separate beds, same room, nightstand in between them, television in the middle, and they just go there for that. I don't know. I have a gut feeling that it's not. I have a gut feeling it's not Michael Scott and Jan where she needed the bed and he sleeps at the end of the bed on a little bitty, I don't even know what you would call that, stool and, out of convenience. I don't know if it's that. A few of the reasons that I've heard from guys, and if you're one of these guys that has shared this with me, you know, I've never called you on it. I'll encourage you, hey, you need to rectify that. I won't tell you your reasons are valid or invalid. You and your wife need to get this dialed in. One of the reasons would be kids. So maybe you first have kids and, you say, well, she breastfeeds, I can't feed, so it's easier for me to sleep in a different bed. That way I can get sleep and I can get on to work and then she can be right there with the baby. Maybe. Some people put the baby bed at the end of their bed. I'd caution you against those things. I get it. I'm a protective dad. We've had 3 kids. I understand that. But you got to protect your bedroom. You really do. And so maybe kids had a bad dream. Maybe they don't feel well. Maybe there's something going on. You say, you know what, it's easier for one of us to sleep in a different room. And so you start to do that. Next thing you know, it's been 36 months and you're still doing that, right? I don't think that's good for the kid, and I definitely know it's not good for your marriage. Sometimes it's schedules. I get up so early in the morning, she stays up so late, I stay up so late, she's so early. Listen, my wife and I's schedules are different too, I understand that. You say, man, I come in the middle of the night, and she's leaving crack of dawn, whatever. You say your schedule. So that's a reason why we don't sleep in the same bed. It's more conducive. We both can get the appropriate sleep and we don't disrupt each other. Some people say, because I'm sick. And I'll give you that. Sometimes you're sick. I don't want to get my spouse sick. I'm going to go sleep on the couch. I'm going to sleep in the recliner. I'm going to sleep in the guest bedroom. Yeah, maybe for a night. Maybe for 2. Sometimes it's sleep aids. He's got a sleep apnea machine. Have a fan going. I don't like the fan. We'll get a blanket. I don't like the noise machine, so get some earplugs, whatever. So you got that going on, or maybe it's just snoring. We all snore. I get it. She does too. We get it. We all do to a degree. But I want to remind you of Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, that God made it clear what he had joined together, that a man would leave his father and mother, hold fast to his bride, and the two shall become one flesh, a gluing together, that you're together, and you can figure this out. Of all the rooms you need to protect in your house, your bedroom has to be at the top of the list. You get the bedroom wrong, the rest of the rooms are going to be wrong. It's inevitable. You can be an Ozzie and Harriet in the front room, living room, at the kitchen table, playing cards with the neighbors. But if you don't get the bedroom right, and I'm not just talking about sexual intimacy, I think you guys know that, but I need to say that. You don't get the bedroom right, you don't protect your bedroom, you're in a bad way. Hebrews 13:4 says the marriage bed should not be defiled. Protect it. You need to watch over it. One of the ways I watch over it is nobody else is supposed to be in there. And for a period of time, sickness, whatever, yeah, I get it. There might be a brief vacancy if someone's in a recliner on a couch or something, but we don't want to live like that. And again, you're on one side of the fence or another. You're either on the side, you're like, absolutely, why would I ever have my wife or myself sleep in another room? Jared, I'm married to her. I want to be around her. Yeah. And other guys, again, will be like, you don't know my situation. I understand that. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 even talks about like not withholding yourself from one another. I'll say it again. I'm not just talking about sexual intimacy. However, that is part of it. And I don't know if you have roommate rights or what you're doing if you have different rooms, different spaces. But I promise you this, it's better to be together. It's always better to be together. I just wrote down a couple things here from a comfort standpoint. I just like knowing she's there. She likes knowing I'm there. One of us is going to take up more space than the other, take more blankets, do it. It's okay. It's part of the give and take of marriage. There's the touch. There's the physical touch. I know she's there. I know when she got up. Vice versa. Sometimes you just hold each other's hand. I often put my hand on her shoulder because she's going to sleep. I'm going to keep watching the ball game or whatever. We're just connecting still. You can reach over, grab each other's hand. You can pray before you go to bed. You have the closeness. Man, I'm not around my wife a whole lot during the day. I come back home. She comes back home. We're together. We might sit by each other on the couch. Not always. But that's the one time where we can guarantee the proximity will be very close. We have eliminated distance, at least for that window of time that we're going to go to bed. And then the other part that I always think of is just protection. Somebody comes in our room or comes to our house, that's my role and responsibility. If I'm dozing off in the other room and I got my noise-canceling headphones in and I've created a little man cave where I sleep, my little nook, and she's got the cranny over here, and you put yourself in a vulnerable position. I just want you to think about that. What is right and what is best? Not what is convenient. What is right and what is best? Yeah, it's not always the best night's sleep with your spouse, and she probably feels the same way, or maybe she's already said that about you. But ask yourself, what does God really want for us and our marriage? And for the us and our marriage might mean that I might sacrifice a little bit of comfort. I might wake up in the middle of the night and I don't have any blankets, or I got the Jimmy leg kicked in the side of me, or maybe, someone's snoring, or that fan is driving me crazy. We'll figure it out. If we're going to be together, then we're going to be together. Sometimes we have to do things for one another. And over an extended period of time, if you're going to be married longer than 6 months, then you're going to have to figure some of these things out. So, hey, that's just a thought. I hear from a lot of guys. I hear it all the time. And again, I looked up this stat, and it said 40%. You can get varying degrees of this. 40% of people who are married will admit on a regular basis they're not sleeping in the same bed. Man, I hope that's not you. I hope that's not you and your spouse. So, just a thought. I'll talk to you in a bit.